and it's Friday, and we're here on a special LinkedIn Live, and we're doing a happy birthday LinkedIn. So it's not Tuesday, it's Friday, and we're alive and we're having fun. So we've got a bunch of us in the house today. We have Debbie, we have Kevin, we have Jeff, we have me, and I got to let everybody introduce themselves. So Debbie, let's start with you. Happy birthday, LinkedIn. Thank goodness we didn't have to sing, and we'll let you kick it off. Since not everybody knows who we are, Debbie, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? And then Kevin, you introduce yourself, Jeff, and then me. And then we'll just get stuck in.
Awesome. Happy birthday, LinkedIn. Thank you, Gillian. I'm Debbie Weems, founder of DW Consulting Solutions in West Palm Beach, Florida. And we're going to celebrate our 12th year of helping people understand LinkedIn better in June. And it's all about branding and marketing and knowing how to use this site in a professional manner that will get you results.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm Kevin Turner with TNT Brand Strategist. I'm in love with LinkedIn, so I'm really happy it's the 20th birthday. It's almost old enough to drink, right? It's been misbehaving for a lot of years with all of us involved, and just really excited because this is the place where you can scale digitally, globally, and meet incredible people like we all met each other here. And so that makes the party even better.
Love it. Love it.
Absolutely.
Jeff.
All right. Namaste. As most people know, I am Jeff Young. I am the LinkedIn guru. When you look up guru in the dictionary, you see the word teacher. So that means I am also the LinkedIn teacher, as it says on the screen there. And I've been teaching LinkedIn now for 15 years. That means that I've done between 900 and 1,000 seminars for LinkedIn. And that also means that I've had about 18,000 to 20,000 students. I haven't kept total track of, but that's about 20,000 people that I've touched directly, and it's only 20,000, not counting the ripple effect of people who take and pass my stuff forward, which many of you folks actually have done for me as well. So I'm Jeff Young. Namaste.
Awesome. Awesome. And for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Gillian Whitney. I am the video easy peasy lady. I specialize on LinkedIn video and live and recorded. So I'm kind of an expert in both. And I'm honored to be with these three folks in the house today and to just be coming at you and talking about all this stuff. So Debbie, let's kick it off. LinkedIn is 20 years old today, which is amazing. And I love the Australia people because they were like posting yesterday. They were like ahead of us. So I remember, shout out to Lanier Johnston, who had a wonderful post yesterday. And we were like, what? We're still doing, LinkedIn. We're still doing the Star Wars Day, and they were already on to the LinkedIn birthday. So that was great. So Debbie, 20 years ago today, LinkedIn was born. It's a platform. It's a social media platform the stork brought. So 20 years ago today, what were you doing, just out of curiosity?
I was still in the nonprofit world. My first career, which lasted 23 years before I was unceremoniously dismissed. I'm laughing now. It wasn't a laughing matter then. But that's how I found LinkedIn. I was a job seeker at 57. I had a very successful nonprofit career in marketing, media, PR. And I had 11 months of unemployment to figure out what to do next. And for me, it was, it was a discovery of hope and resilience, and just seeing how much I could be pushed to the edge, really. I have no regrets whatsoever. It's been an up and down journey. I have embraced every minute, and happy to be here today.
Awesome. Awesome. Kevin, where were you 20 years ago today?
And I actually looked up to see who the first person I connected with on LinkedIn. And I remember they told me about LinkedIn. It was at a Meng meeting, which is Marketing Executive Networking Group. I was a CEO of a small education company that was internet based and provided curriculum tools to schools. And I was giving a presentation. And the lady's name was Debbie Boselman. And she came up and said, have you checked out LinkedIn. And I said, I don't know what it is. Get me involved. And so she sent me an invite. And so I thought that was fascinating. You can go back into the file, much as Jeff mentioned in the bonus. There's other things that you can do with those files. But one of the things I did was I went back and said, who was the first person I connected with? And, the other one was, what was my first post, which was interesting as well. But that's where I was. And I have been extremely active with LinkedIn ever since, and collecting data all the time with LinkedIn, screenshots and bits and pieces. And, for a long time, they just kind of piled up, right? They were in my files. And just maybe 5-6 years ago, I started sharing them. People found them interesting. And so, I just love LinkedIn. I love helping people do better here because there's so much opportunity.
Awesome. So Jeff, where were you 20 years ago?
Well, first of all, Kevin, I said this before we went live. I think LinkedIn ought to pay you for that historical reference, because it's one of the best I've ever seen. You really did a great job of putting that all together, the history of LinkedIn. 20 years ago, I wasn't on LinkedIn, although in about a week or so, I will celebrate my 19th year of being on LinkedIn, because I joined on May 13th of 2004. So I was in the process of actually still looking for a job, because I was unemployed like Debbie was in May of 2004. I hadn't even found my final job. And for me, LinkedIn didn't even become a thing until a year later. And that was actually, before I got my last job, where I finally retired from. And that's actually where I got introduced to LinkedIn more than anything else, is that when I retired at the beginning of 2008 is when my LinkedIn, if you will, career really started, because I wanted to continue to use this thing that everybody talked about, it being a great networking platform for professionals, to actually continue to do that after I retired. And I found that for me, the best way for me to learn how to use LinkedIn was for me to start teaching it to other people. And so that's exactly what I did. I started teaching LinkedIn in January of 2008. And that's and as they say, the rest is history, because it has been a wonderful ride. I've joked with Kevin many times. I still think that LinkedIn is he calls it a terrible twos. I think it acts like a 2-year-old every once in a while, but it is now 20, and it ain't going away. I mean, that's the thing. I also teach that to a lot of people to show how important LinkedIn is. Look at it from the standpoint of, now it's been around for 20 years. There's a lot of companies that haven't been around for 20 years. So it's gonna get better. I got faith. It always gets better, and it always has gotten better for me.
I love that. And so just to finish this off, 20 years ago, I was not on LinkedIn. I was a homeschool mom. I was teaching my kids. So I was like not looking for a job. I had a job. I was busy, and I always worked when I homeschooled my kids. So I've always been this multitasker. So I was probably coming out of my tech writing career at that point and just doing resumes, and probably didn't even know to tell people to go to LinkedIn. And when I finally did get on LinkedIn, which was 10 years ago, it took me 6 years before I even got my first comment. So I posted about that yesterday. And just to follow up on Jeff's tip, it is amazing if you have never done this, go and download, export your data archive. And it is amazing that LinkedIn has this time capsule of, like you said, Kevin, who did you contact with, your comments, the posts that you've done over the years. It's like, if you want to take a stroll down memory lane, go and do that. And just know that even if it took you years to get on LinkedIn and then get active on LinkedIn, you're in good company, because none of us, kind of hit the ground running and had 70 million followers on day 2. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint.
Well,
so
I'm glad, Gillian, you didn't give up, because I saw that post. 6 years. That's a long time to go without a comment, or you kept it going. And amazing what you do and how many people you help with what you put out there. And that's incredible.
Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So Debbie, let's start off with some tips, because we did promise people that we would actually, give some advice here today, some tips on how to do LinkedIn and what to do better. So why don't you start off with your number one, what's your secret sauce?
Okay, thank you. There's a million tips, but I think it keeps coming back to engagement. Because there's still too many people that get a really good profile going and then they kind of sit back. And you have to engage. You have to work this tool just like you work any other branding and marketing tool. Something I discovered not so long ago. I've always acknowledged comments on things that I post, and you get the back and forth engagement going. You acknowledge someone's comment and you comment back and things take off from there. That's the whole idea. But I just started engaging with people that were liking my stuff. And I've never really taken the time to do that. And let me tell you, it's an eye opener, and engaging meaning you click on like, find out who they are, shoot them an invitation to connect. Thanks for, liking my posts. And again, things take off from there. If you show that you care, they're going to care back, and that is one of my favorite things, is teaching people how to engage in a meaningful manner, always with more than 4 words. You got to make it a comment. You got to make it a sentence, not, hey, great post. That's not going to help anybody.
No drive-bys.
But engagement is, I think, yeah, that's the key for me. Thanks.
I love that. I love that. Kevin, what is your sort of number one tip?
My number one tip is we all want to be found on LinkedIn, right? And LinkedIn is a database. When Jeff and I got in there, it was under 500 when Jeff got there. It was under 2 million when I got there, right? But it works like any database does. And if you follow database best practices, it's easier to find you. And so one of the things that I suggest, if you haven't done this, everywhere on your profile, if you go in and there's a box, right? And if you type into the box, it gives a drop-down suggestion. Those are market value titles. If you use the market value titles, you're easier to be found on LinkedIn. So titles are really big. Cloud9 Navigator, bad title. Chief Human Resource Officer, great title, you'll be found. The same thing goes all the way down even into the degree. If you put bachelor's, you're probably not going to be found for a bachelor's of science-BS is what they identified as. So use those market value titles. It's like the Dewey Decimal System in the library. If you made up your own numbers and put the book back on the shelf, nobody would find it. That's what people are doing to themselves. That's my number one tip. Use the market value titles.
And now you're dating yourself with saying Dewey Decimal.
Oh, I got to get my product placement in.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay. Dewey Decimal. There's a reference here that I'll give my tip, but I'll also go back to the reference. My last job was with a company called OCLC here in Columbus, Ohio, and that company actually owns the Dewey Decimal System.
Wow.
By the way, Kevin. So it was interesting that you mentioned Dewey Decimal, because Dewey Decimal was at least three plus years of my life. Okay.
Wow.
So my tip, as Debbie said, as Kevin said, it's about being found on LinkedIn. So my tip relates to how you get found and how you differentiate yourself. It's all about branding and how you differentiate yourself. So my tip is use videos, use graphics, use them on your profile, use them when you post, use them, well, as I do sometimes in my comments. Okay, people who know me know I also put graphics of some sort in my comments most of the time to illustrate what I'm going on, and that also helps me stand out when I do a comment and I engage, Debbie, as an example. And those are normally something called a GIF. If you want to know what a GIF is, go back to a previous live that Gillian and I did, to GIF or not to GIF. And but to me, it's an acronym, and I love acronyms. Okay, GIF to me stands for graphics is fun. Okay, and basically that's really just a matter of using a graphic so that you stand out. And almost every single comment that I ever have made on LinkedIn for the past many years now has a graphic, has a GIF, and they're really good. Kevin's taken it to the next level as well. Kevin uses GIFs to illustrate how-tos. and how to find his new features and where the new features are, etc. It's fabulous. So use those graphics, and it will help you stand out.
Now, if it's
I
a
love
GIF,
that.
is Gillian Gillian?
We
Question, right?
had that discussion.
Because Gillian couldn't use GIFs.
Yep.
She has to use GIFs, so it's
Well,
Gillian.
Jillian summed it up
Clear
by
that.
saying, "Choosy mothers choose Jif."
Oh, geez.
Jeff is in Jeff.
I love
Jeff
it.
is in Jeff. Jeff is in Jeff. And
Jeff
and
is
I
gifted.
I have to say for GIFs that, because I'm going to call it GIFs, is that Kevin, you have the most awesome GIF ever that I have seen, that you created yourself with these crazy robots, the LinkedIn robots on one of your last newsletters. Everybody needs to go to your profile and the featured section just to see that, because I'm sure that took you like 7 years to make that GIF, because it's like you said, you did a lot of work in front of the TV,
It's like claymation, right? You move a little.
yeah, they're not easy. And that's
fun.
kind of fun because it allows your creativity to come out. And as a video person, I really appreciate GIFs. I like GIFs. I think they're fun. And I have to follow up on Jeff's comment of OCLC, because in my former life, I used to work in the library, and I actually was an interlibrary loan person at a library. And my job was all day long using OCLC to find out where books were located. And then I would get them for library patrons. And that was my job. And so there's a point to this. When I first met Jeff, and we had our first, virtual cup of coffee, and I was over in Israel.
Library books, didn't he?
No,
You had to go get them.
But here we weren't really sure what we had in common, and then we got together and we started talking about. Jeff mentioned OCLC, and then we had an instant connection, and we were able to chat and get along. And to me, the fun part, and this kind of leads to what my tip is that when you have the opportunity to meet people off of LinkedIn, that's where the magic happens. Mm-hmm. And Jeff was my very, very, very first person I ever met with off of LinkedIn. And it was an amazing opportunity to get to know somebody. And that's what I would say is my tip is take your connections from the public arena to the private arena of getting to know people in the DMs. And when you're comfortable, do a Zoom. These are just great ways to get to know people. And here we are. I would consider us all colleagues and friends. We became friends by having conversations. We have a group DM where we're chatting together in the DM, just the four of us. We have met. I've had you all on my live before. I've had Zooms with all of you before. And to me, this is the magic of LinkedIn that you don't get with other social platforms where, if you go on Instagram or something like that, I don't know how many, it's kind of one to many. You're just broadcasting out. The same with YouTube. YouTube's a great platform, but you're not making these personal connections. And that's my secret sauce of LinkedIn. Make these personal connections. Yes, Debbie.
I want to take it a step further. So the gentleman to my, this guy over here. So Kevin and his wife were kind enough to come out to the Dallas airport. I had 3 hours to sit coming home from San Diego from a conference. And that's taken it to the next level. When you can meet some of your, even a short-term connection, but Kevin and I have been connected for a few years, and it was just so fun to meet in person. So my goal now is to meet you other two in person at some point, and I'm sure I will. But there's discoveries going on. Rachel Simon, I'll give her a shout out. And I don't remember who she met. She's met more than one person in person. But it's lovely to see those posts now about people doing the same thing, making an effort. Somebody else is trying to organize something in New York City for a whole group. I just love that.
Yeah. I got to mention as well. I mean, thank you, Gillian, for mentioning that I was your first Zoom, linked out meeting. Okay. But one of the things that it also leads to, in addition to friendships, is that it actually, in Gillian's case, led to some more money, because because I actually have used Gillian's services, because I mentioned videos and I mentioned those kind of things on my profile. Well, my profile video and a 2-minute introduction video are products of okay, the lady to my side, okay, because of the fact that her talents were something that I found out that I could actually use. So it was something that, you know, I have thanked her many times before, and I point people to her all the time. You know, referrals happen all the time as well, and that's a big part of this platform as well.
I love that. I love that. And I think I had seen, maybe it was a comment you put on my post. Sometimes I just get confused where I'm reading comments, Jeff, but I think I saw you put a tip somewhere, and you were saying one of the things that's great about LinkedIn is find a need that somebody has and fill that need and connect people.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing that we can do in LinkedIn, not only just meeting with our connections ourselves, but introducing people to other people. And I know that you're responsible, Jeff, for introducing Kevin to me, because I remember when I first saw Kevin and I was following him, which is, I think, something we all recommend, all four of us, that when you see somebody on LinkedIn, you don't need to immediately connect with them, because we can't be connected to everybody, but we can follow everybody. And so if you find somebody and you like their content, then go ahead and follow them, ring their bell so that you're alerted to, you know, what they do on LinkedIn, get to know them a little bit. And with Kevin, I really liked Kevin and I wanted to get to know Kevin. And Kevin requires that you, he's selective, which is totally understandable. And you have to have his email address before you connect with Kevin. And they didn't have it. So I asked Jeff, I would like to meet Kevin. And you said, let me make an introduction to you. And boom, we got introduced. We got to know each other. Kevin came on my show. We got to know each other. And so meeting people, but having other people make those introductions for you, I think that's gold.
Our DM conversation has a group name of Gillian would like to connect, and we have never changed that name. So we've been talking for that many years now with that same DM conversation.
Scroll back to the original one.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And that's a nice thing, because that's in your data archive too, isn't it, Kevin? Your conversation history with people.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So Debbie, do you have another golden tip to kind of circle back around with?
I do. So this is just so fun. And I have to give a shout out to Angus over the pond. He introduced me to using the mobile app to leave a voice message instead of, you know, a written message. And ever since then, I've had more fun with this. And right now I'm making a concerted effort to use it. And it's 1 minute, so you can't get real chatty, but you will stand out. It looks like a blue recording line, so people know right away when they go to their LinkedIn messaging, oh, what's this? You know, it's a recording. So super easy. You bring up the person you want to message, and at the bottom of the screen, instead of writing the message right to the right, there's going to be a teeny tiny microphone, because LinkedIn likes to make you look for stuff. And you can practice, and when you get it the way you want it, off it goes. Keep it at a minute. Angus did give another tip on top of that. If you get a back and forth going of these little voicemails, it's good to stop and throw a text message, written message in there to let people know where you're at in that conversation, because going back to that and having to replay all those 1 minute messages to find something is a little bit cumbersome. But I love leaving a quick, hey, thanks for connecting. You know, look for my formal thank you in a few days.
Angus Brady is a gentleman and a scholar.
Yes, he is. I hope he's
and a great tea drinker. That's a good one. And would you follow up and also recommend using the your phone to do that audio pronunciation on your profile?
Absolutely. I just changed mine yesterday. We try to change it at the beginning. I try to change mine at the first of the month to highlight something that we're doing. It's 10 seconds, but you can say a lot, and you can say your name in about a millisecond, and then you still have that time, and you can get very creative. And Jeff, you're very creative with yours. He's got a little soundtrack going on there. So it is whatever you want it to be, however creative you wish to be with it. Absolutely. Take advantage of all these little nuances that are video, audio, anything like that. You got to come up to speed with it.
I love that. And I know personally, I have a name that's it's a British name because I'm actually British, born abroad. And my name, Gillian, a lot of people don't know how to pronounce it, sort of like Jiff and Jeff, Jiff and Gif. And I have my pronunciation doing that because I figure if somebody is maybe they're going to hop on a call with me, or I'm going to be on their show or something like that, I want to make sure that they can pronounce my name correctly. So, if you have a challenging name or an unusual name, it's good to even just do that, because we do like to hear our name said correctly. I think they say that's like one of the most personal things, is having your name pronounced nice. So important stuff. So Kevin, another tip from you?
Another tip, as we're talking about this kind of networking and communicating and kind of getting down, sometimes bogged into messaging, which is sometimes not as effective and efficient as it should be. Within that messaging, if you look to the top of that messaging area in that box, you'll see that little thing. It looks like a video camera, right? You can actually set up an instant meeting like Zoom, or you can actually use Zoom and Teams in it, but you can use the one that's native to LinkedIn. So if you've got a conversation going, you can say, hey, can I show you something new if you haven't seen it before? But we can have an instant video meeting and we can talk about this, and I can even share my screen with you. That's cool, because it's not like, hey, let me set up a Zoom and I'll send you a link, and oh, your email didn't get it yet, maybe it's in spam, right? All that stuff. It's right there. It's instant, and it's cool in that sense. And going back to the audio option, where we're talking about leaving audio messages, you also have that hidden video message option. And LinkedIn loves to hide things, as we said, right? Debbie, they do. There's just too many features on LinkedIn to put them all out front, because it would look like an admiral's jacket or something. There'd be so many buttons. So they hide it underneath the paperclip on your mobile. So when you're in there and you're in messaging, you see that little paperclip, tap on it, it's going to open up a new pop-up box. And one of the options is send a video message. So I really like video. I like audio. I really like video because, I don't know, there's just more human in it, right? And I
agree.
Becoming a challenge these days.
I agree. And I'm a huge fan of the video messages, and I actually not counsel, but I basically guide my clients that if you're a little hesitant about making videos for the feed, because it's very noisy and there's just so much competition now with video. And I think there's this stress that people feel it's got to have special effects and dogs dancing and all sorts of things. If you just want to ease into video at your own speed, send a video message to somebody privately. And I always recommend, don't spam them with, here's my $70 million deal. It's like, do things like, hey, I saw that you just got a new job. I'm really excited for you, or hey, I heard it's your birthday today. These are the kind of things. Use it for social selling, for relationship building. That's what I use videos and DMs for, especially too, if you hear that people maybe aren't feeling well, just sending them a get well video. That's a really wonderful way to just be a human being. And so I love doing those video messages. So I'm a big fan of those, Kevin. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Jeff, what else have you got for us?
Well, I'll add one thing to what you just talked about as far as sending messages of any sort, or video messages in particular. This is not my tip, but it qualifies as a tip. Don't pitch slap. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just don't. I mean, it's just not going to work. I don't know how many people keep doing it, but it's just not going to work. My tip, actually, though, is related to all the tips that we've talked about so far. And every single one of the tips that we have talked about so far is a feature of LinkedIn that is free. People who know me know I'm all about free. I do free seminars. Well, I'm also all about using LinkedIn for free as well. So my tip is learn how LinkedIn works and what you can do for free first before you pay for it. Sure, you might want to try LinkedIn Premium to see what it might be like. But do yourself and do me a favor. I don't care what it takes. If you take LinkedIn's month for free, put Post-it notes on your refrigerator, put neon signs on your garage. I don't care what it takes. Okay. But do something that tells you to cancel that if you don't like what LinkedIn has for you. But 95% of the people that I encounter when I'm doing a seminar haven't even scratched the surface of what they can do for free. So to figure out what it can do for free. And if you don't know, and if you want to do something on LinkedIn for free and don't know how, ask one of us, because we'll probably know how to use it because we've done it. Okay. We've gotten around paying for LinkedIn at one point or another.
Yeah.
That's
My
a great tip.
First 6 years out of 12 for me were on the free basic membership. I didn't go to premium until year 6. And right now I'm dabbling in Sales Navigator just so I know more about it. Yep. That's all.
Well, I've actually been on LinkedIn Premium now for 1 year, and I did buy it, but that's because of the fact that there is a feature that is, from my standpoint, something that I needed to have, and that is something called an open profile. And that open profile allows anybody of the 930 million people on LinkedIn to send me a direct message without being connected to me. And that's the way I want it. It's one of the key features as far as I'm concerned, as far as premium is concerned.
I'm on free. I've never paid for LinkedIn at all. And everything that I do, all the video, every post I make, everything is free. The only thing that I would love would maybe be the out of office message. But then again, I never go anywhere. I go everywhere all the time anyways. I'm a digital nomad. So it's like LinkedIn just comes with me. So that's about it.
Office?
Yeah, there is no office.
But the thing of it is, the out of office message for LinkedIn only goes to your connections anyway. So so I wish it was for everybody who would send something, right? But it's not. It's only for your connections, and it's only once a day anyway. So I've never actually used it very often.
I've been playing with it, but the bad thing about it, depending on what you put in there, sometimes it can hide their message. So when you look at your messages, you're the last one to message because it's technically sending them a message. Oh. So you can lose track with it really easy if you don't pay attention to, that's top of the list and I see my out of office there. I better check what's behind it. Because I've lost a couple that way and had to go back and apologize for being rude. Digitally blocking them, I guess. So we gotta know these tools sometimes have a bad edge to them if we don't use them right.
Yep.
And that's probably one thing about messages that has been an improvement is LinkedIn now has like the sorting. They've got this sort of like other where you can like fling people into the other, like those people aren't that important to me. And you can star people. And I really like that star bit because then I can sort and find people. But this is the one thing that I find people panic the most is if you ever do a recommendation for somebody, it starts a new conversation thread. And all of a sudden somebody will say, I've lost my entire conversation history with you. And that's probably the scariest thing. And it would really be nice if LinkedIn would not do that. I don't know why that happens, but that is something that most people panic because then they've lost every single thing. They haven't. You just got to come back to the original thing. So sorry if that's a bit meta, but that's one thing that makes me bananas.
Yeah, it's still there. You just have to go looking for it a little.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird design.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's very strange. So Debbie, you look like you got something else on your mind.
I do. How did you know? It's Friday. It's almost happy hour. That's what's on my mind.
Almost.
Afternoon.
I won't tell you what's in this coffee. Okay.
Oh, that's why it's a black cup. Okay. So scheduling. Aside from that really popular question of what should I post, engage and inform and a little bit of entertainment. That's our formula for a good post. scheduling. I love it. You know, right. A lot of people use Buffer or Hootsuite or whatever app they want to use. LinkedIn now has the ability to do it right there on your homepage. Go to post something and you'll see a little clock in the lower right corner. And now you can also schedule posts for your LinkedIn page as well. So use that. I mean, it's great. You just have to remember you only get one chance to edit whatever it is that's going to go out there. So be careful. But it's a great feature. Love it.
And you can mention people, right,
Yep.
in it, which all the other tools from the outside can't do that, which is kind of cool. And, you know, I always put at the bottom, I always mention myself, believe it or not, and I mention my company as part of my signature at the bottom. And what that does, when I then will do my first comment, LinkedIn looks at that as the person that is being mentioned is now joining the conversation. So this must have been important, right? Because they measure these kind of dynamics. So I create my own. And then, you know, from my first comment, which I normally put all my little resources out there that are free. My second comment, I do from my company page. So I just click that little icon up there, right? The little me icon at the top of the comments with the arrow down. I click it and then I select TNT Brand Strategist and I make another comment. Now LinkedIn thinks, wow, he mentioned two, you know, people or two groups on LinkedIn and they both replied. So he must not be spammy. So it's kind of convincing the system, right? And it works. It seems to be building momentum.
And then they push your post out further in your network, right?
You got it. You got
it. It doesn't go out to everybody all at once the first time you post. The first hour, I think they watch. And then if it's got value, if you've got engagement in that first hour, that's a great tip, Kevin. I never knew that one.
Well, it's just the little signature tool. It's right there. And if somebody wanted to communicate with me, they could click on it, go straight to my profile. There's other places you can get to my profile too, but it actually seems to work. So
nice.
Yeah, fun
That's
stuff.
cool. That's cool. And it's nice too that the LinkedIn scheduling allows for video. And a lot of the external posting systems do not allow for video. So that was a really cool thing. And I believe that LinkedIn also now has slipped in that we can do our newsletters as scheduled in addition. So that was a new thing that was added on, which is really nice because it, you know, you really want to think about when are you posting those newsletters, because they not only arrive on LinkedIn, but on people's email inboxes. So you might say, well, I don't think I want to have my newsletter go out on a Monday morning because Monday's like a crazy day. So you might want to have it like on a Friday or something so people have the weekend or whatever. So yeah, I like the scheduling tool. And probably the biggest thing is just always for people to remember, still be there to nurture your posts, because that's probably the biggest thing about the scheduling tool. While it's very, very convenient for us, the thing is that we have to remember, and I know a few people that have said, oh, I have to now put this on my calendar that I've got to be on LinkedIn to nurture that video because it didn't get any engagement. And it's like, yeah, because you can't post and ghost and you can't schedule and ghost either.
Right.
Well, very true. Very true. That's what the sticky notes are for. Right? While you're having your coffee, like, oh, that's just about to go. Right. Just to remind you, get in there, right?
That's right. That's right. So, Kevin, do you have another tip for us?
You know, one of the things I love on LinkedIn is one of the resources that they provide. It's on GitHub, and GitHub is where they're kind of like their skunk work stuff goes, right? And it came out 3 or 4 years ago. It's been kind of hidden, and that's called Career Explorer. Now, you don't have to be a job seeker to use it. What it does in that Career Explorer is it will actually allow you to put in a title that you're targeting, right? Or it could be your current title. It compares with your profile, what it sees in your profile, and it compares with other people who hold that title. And what it ends up doing is it tells you the top maybe 10 to 15 skills that everybody else in the database that does that job have, kind of right, the top stuff. And then it also compares it against similar positions and shows you what are the transferable skills. So we're all here. We all have careers, right? So maybe we're not looking for a job, but maybe we're looking to be better at what we do. Or maybe we're looking at, hey, I want to go from director of sales to VP of sales. What is the difference in the skills? So I can start building those skills, right? That Career Explorer is phenomenal. And it's free to use. It's not something they charge a premium for. So get in there, use that, find those skills, and then incorporate those skills into two areas, right? You want to put it into your actual skill section and think about that as a market value filter. So type slowly, take what comes in the drop-down box and add that, right? Then you're going to put it now into your about section, which is just recent, called top skills. You're going to put 5 in there, right? You can put 50 at the bottom, and then you can actually attach them to each position. Now, brilliant on LinkedIn's part, because the reason they put skills to positions is if you say I've got social media and I have it attached to 5 different jobs, I can add up the years in those jobs and I can get 15 years of social media.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty smart on LinkedIn's part. But then LinkedIn also want to know what is our top skills. And so that's why they've separated that and placed that into the about section. Endorsements at the bottom with skills. If you don't have endorsements on your skills, you're being compared to those who do. So if somebody's got, 100 for leadership and you've got 2 for leadership, you're not going to be at the top of the list, right? It's going to be like this. So I always say, have skill parties with your friends. Go to their profile, give them what they have. Don't give them, if you don't know Cobalt, don't give somebody Cobalt. Give them what they have. And usually they'll come back. You don't even have to ask. They'll come back and they'll give you what they know you have. If you want to increase leadership, go out and find leaders and give them leadership that right? And they'll usually come back 80% of the time. They'll come back and give you leadership. Works really well. And it helps distinguish because LinkedIn uses that as part of that profile ranking. They're using, what's into those market value filters, but then bring those skills into the context of what you write as well, because LinkedIn's looking there as well. And with AI, all those things are kind of coming into play. But that to me is an area that Career Explorer is going to help people kind of define those and then really kind of bring them in. They've got a new option for premium accounts, but we won't talk about that. We're going to stick to that free stuff. And it does the same thing. And it's based on what they did on GitHub. The little stump work over here now became a feature within LinkedIn, but you got to pay for that one. You still can get the other one for free. So use it now while it's there because it may disappear. We never know.
Possibly.
Wow, that's a good one. And you can sort all your skills, correct? So you can rearrange your order because
Absolutely.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, your top 3 get the most skill endorsements, right? So rotate them. If you add a new one in, don't worry that the top one had the most already. Put that new one in so you can gain some on that new one. And it makes a huge difference. And rotate them around. They don't look at it from the LinkedIn side. If it's your top 3, that those are most important because they're looking at it in a different way. So
they're looking at the number count. Number count.
Yep. So rotate them so that you'll get more on those other skills that you're adding in, especially if they're new. And then I always say do a skill kind of review. Make sure you're not using old terms, right? Because if you are, then it's not going to help you be found for anything new.
No, that's a great tip. That's a great tip. Jeff, do you have anything else to add?
Well, to add to Kevin's, one of the other things you mentioned about reordering skills, one of the things that LinkedIn loves to do is hide things. So usually when you go in and you edit something, there's the up and down caret, okay, that you see. Well, you won't see that on skills unless you actually click the 3 dots. Thank you for the illustration, Debbie. Okay, you won't see that on skills unless you click the 3 dots. Once you click that, then you can click reorder, and then you can reorder your skills. So it's just one of those little hidden things that people ask me all the time. I can't reorder my skills. Well, yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. And anytime you see 3 dots, click it, find out what it is.
That's a
right?
good tip
All
right there,
the little secrets are hidden behind the 3 dots.
That is a really good tip.
Cool
Click
stuff.
more, click 3 dots.
Yeah.
It's
More
called an
icon is what they
ellipsis.
call that.
It's called an ellipsis.
Yes, that's the correct term for it.
Mhm.
Okay, my tip, I'm going to go back to posting, okay? But I'm going to tell you about posting as one of the ways that you actually can differentiate yourself on LinkedIn because Of the 930 million people that are out there, only about 1 to 5% of those people actually post on LinkedIn on a weekly basis. So posting is good. But my tip is actually, you don't have to post every single day. Please don't do that, because if you do, I think you're actually making noise instead of value. Okay, you're adding noise. I would rather you would post consistently once or twice a week, and then spend 10 to 20 times more doing comments on posts for somebody else. That's really the tip here. Engage, and excuse me, Star Trek, engage, okay? As Jean-Luc Picard would say, engage in comments. I regularly comment 10 to 20 times for every single post that I actually ever do out on LinkedIn. And that's what generates the most followers. That's what generates the most conversations. That's where the rubber really meets the road, as far as I'm concerned, on LinkedIn, is comments, as opposed to
right into reciprocity, right?
Yep.
The golden rule. You know, if you are doing that, it comes back tenfold. It's the right way to kind of build that momentum. Absolutely.
I agree. And speaking of comments, we have a lot. So let me turn off this banner here. Okay. So we have a lot of comments today. So we want to thank everybody who has taken the time to leave us a comment today. Happy birthday, LinkedIn. Can't imagine how things were before this wonderful platform. Isn't that is just a wonderful thing. I don't know how Kevin did it, but he's got a comment here. So it's like, Kevin's magical. He's the only person I know that can comment in the show without doing anything. He just thinks them. They appear on the screen. Can't wait for this live stream with Gillian, Debbie, and Jeff. Woohoo! We have Kathy York. Sam, I was just going to say that. I don't know what Sam said, so that'll show up in a second. Jeff Young, Worf has a heart of gold no matter what the other Klingons think of him.
I think what she was doing is looking at one of the comments that I had made, where Worf it's actually the birthday card where Worf says, "Have a happy birthday, or I will be displeased."
I love it. I love it. I love it. So somebody wants to know if Kevin is serving cake or other goodies. That will happen when LinkedIn turns 21, because the AI bots by that point will be able to do 3D printing of cakes, and we'll just send it out, and it'll be good. It'll be good. Happy Cinco de Mayo, y'all. And that's fun. That it's like the whole world is celebrating today. It's great. It's great. Happy birthday, LinkedIn. And by the way, all these blank heads that are showing up on LinkedIn is a setting feature. And afterwards, because Jeff Young is not in the audience today, he can't do it unless you can think it through, Jeff. But basically, settings, you have the ability to change your settings on LinkedIn so that you show up in public. Yes. And a LinkedIn Live is considered a public setting. So you always want to make sure you do that, because the more people can see you, the better. Leslie Osborne, howdy everybody. This is an amazing woman with what she does for animals. Oh, she's just an amazing woman. We love Leslie. Thank you for coming. Team Live. Team Live. I love it. Got my coffee. I'm waiting for cake. See, everybody wants cake today. Let them. I feel like Marie Antoinette. Let them eat cake. Let them eat cake. Hello from Atlanta, Georgia. We love everybody coming from all the different places across the world. It's so global, and that is the amazing thing about LinkedIn. We're in so many countries. Like right now, we're all in the United States, but it's like we have friends all over the globe. When I started LinkedIn Live, I was in Israel. So it was like I was doing LinkedIn Lives at 8 o'clock at night, and it was 10 o'clock in the morning over here I'm in Las Vegas now. But that's a wonderful thing about LinkedIn. It's like really making the planet small, because we're just getting to know all these people. Okay, that's wonderful. She's talking about her job search platform. We've got Dan Roth, El
I think
Presidente.
he's talking to you, Kevin.
I think he's talking to Kevin. You think he's talking to Kevin. Happy birthday, LinkedIn, from Olivia. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Jeff Young, actually active February 2021. I don't know what that means. So that's maybe that's when they became active. So maybe they followed up on your tips.
Followed up on my tip.
Yeah, so it'll be fun because afterwards we can go in and say, "Oh, that's who that was." So that's always fun. Hello from Boca Raton. So we got another Florida person in the house. Woo-hoo-hoo. Happy birthday, LinkedIn. Happy Friday, Debbie, Kevin, Jeff, and Jillian. That is so lovely. Thank you.
Hey,
thank
Gillian.
you.
Jillian, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second.
Yes.
Dave Buck made a great comment. You might have to fish for it. I just thought it was really great about this should be a great example about ageism.
Oh, I saw that comment.
And I appreciated that comment. That was not a dig at all, Dave. And he's right. I mean, he's right. You know, so many people we coach when we're in transition. You know, we tell them we try to coach them, shake that idea of ageism. It's out there. You got to confront it, but you can't, you know, they can't buy the experience, you know, that you've got.
Yeah.
And
I'm only 25. I'm only 25. They've just been really hard years.
Yeah. It's that closing on the house that's taking it all out of you.
It's ruined me.
I love it. I love it. And I think that is probably one of the things that is really nice about LinkedIn is that LinkedIn, I know right now the demographic is kind of like going down. So, you know, LinkedIn is actually trying to appeal to a younger audience. They're definitely trying to bring in a lot of the people over from Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all those different platforms. And LinkedIn has a lot of young people working at LinkedIn. But the nice thing is that this is a platform for anybody at any age. Jeff is retired. Jeff, you know, because like that was always a fun thing is like when I first met Jeff, I was like, I wonder what he's going to try and sell me. He wasn't going to sell me anything because Jeff's just here because he's having fun. The three of us are still working. But the nice thing is about LinkedIn is that it is all ages. So you can have, you know, I did a show recently talking about LinkedIn for high school students. You're never too young. You can get on this platform at 16 and you can be on this platform. I don't know, you know, we should do a survey and find out who is the oldest person on LinkedIn. And Jeff is waving. Jeff is waving.
No.
We'll call you Grandpa Jeff now. but I love it. But it's true. You can be here for any age and bringing your expertise and bringing your personality. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So good tip, Debbie. Good tip. Happy birthday from Turkey. I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce that name. No, I'm not even gonna try. Happy birthday from Turkey. That's wonderful. We have hi all and happy birthday LinkedIn from G, listening in and supporting some of the best LinkedIn peeps in the world. A fella Texan in the house. We love our Texas people, don't we, Kevin? Yay. Dan Roth says, I want to be Kevin when I grow up.
That won't work.
I love it. Nice. Jeff is raising the roof. I love that. I love that. And look at this. I didn't know this. Leslie is also from Florida. So we have all these Florida people in the house. This is really, really great. Dan Roth, me too. Me too. Happy birthday. I love all these people wishing LinkedIn happy birthday. I really hope LinkedIn is tuned in and seeing all this, you know, and all these well wishes. Debbie, your work on LinkedIn has been amazing. That's nice.
Thank you, wherever you are.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Oh, we got Annette. Here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo. Happy birthday, LinkedIn. This is just so wonderful to see all these wonderful birthday wishes. Jeff was alive for the birth of America. I was alive for the birth of LinkedIn, equally special. And, you know, it's kind of funny to think about it, but there are people who are on LinkedIn who weren't here when LinkedIn was born. So, you know, if you could be on here at 16, if you're 16 or 17 or 18 or 19, you're like, oh, I don't know. LinkedIn's been here all my life, so that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. LinkedIn, happy birthday. Can't imagine how things were before this wonderful platform. So true. So true. Hello from Georgia. So we've got lots and lots of people from all over the world. Happy birthday again, LinkedIn. Good afternoon from Florida. I think you brought the whole state, Debbie. Definitely.
I tried.
We've got, now we're going up to the north part of the country. So we got Brenda coming in from Detroit. Great to see all you rock stars. And are you still doing the rock star thing? Because that was a really fun thing. She used to do all the rock stars on LinkedIn. That was a really fun thing. Hello from the UK. We got our peeps across the pond. We've got lovely Ella Orr, who loves her USA friends. I love that. I love that. And then we have Gail. Hi, everybody, tuning in from the Barbados.
Nice.
It's just, I love this. I love this all across the world. Thank you for sharing your inspiring 20 years experience. Happy birthday. Yay. Yay. We've got Scotland in the house. Happy birthday, LinkedIn, and hello, heroes. TBK is in the house. The Black Knight.
The Black
Knight. Yeah, got to know his call signal. We got Krista. Happy birthday, LinkedIn. Hello from West Palm Beach. Debbie, you have brought the whole state. You definitely have brought the whole state. It's great. I admire your ability to remember so clearly what you did 20 years ago. Yeah, that was our homework assignment. I had to sit back and go,
yeah, memory's the second thing to go, okay?
That's why LinkedIn allows us to download our data.
Yes.
So I go, oh yeah, I remember that.
And to be honest, I can't imagine, how LinkedIn does this with the data, because I don't know if you can do that with other platforms. Maybe you can. I don't know. I've never. I know you can't do it on YouTube.
It like this, where you
Gotta be an engineering thing.
All the things you can, and technically you can even request more that's not even in that file. Not easy to get, but you can request even more.
What is that secret sauce?
Do we really want to know
who they think you are, right? And part of that is they use for marketing, and there's a lot more in there, and you can request it. There is a process in that download where you can actually request other, and then you got to tell them what it is. Really got to explain it well, or you're not going to get anything back. But
okay,
I've done that, and it's interesting.
That's cool. That's cool. And just as a tip too, when you do your data download, make sure you ask for the full thing, because it's a two-parter otherwise. So if you just kind of go for the first bit, you're only going to get a little bit of stuff. You need to get the full thing, and then you're going to get like a spreadsheet. And it's cool because if you click on those links, that's how you get back to those old posts. And and occasionally one or two things might be disappeared or gone or something like that, but it's just amazing. It's a treasure trove of
I haven't looked at it lately, but at last count, when I actually looked, I think there were 43 different files in that data archive download. So 43 different instances of data that you can get access to.
One of the neat things about that, the data download, is with those posts that we're doing, right, in the comments we're making, if we ever have a plagiarism issue, LinkedIn goes straight to that. That is a time stamp. So if you did something on your profile and somebody copied it, right, LinkedIn can, you can actually report it now, and they've updated the little report function, right? So now you can actually go to the forms for copyright, for defamation, and I can't remember what the other one was, but you can go right to them and you can fill out that form. And that's all LinkedIn does, is it looks at the timestamp and says, nope, you know what? Jeff actually wrote this before Kevin used it, so Jeff gets to keep it, Kevin loses it. It's so simple. And,
wow.
That's one of the beauties of all of that stuff being timestamped, is we put a lot of information out there, and we want to share, but we don't want people to run and say, this is my work. And if you do see that, LinkedIn's got a system to take care of it. And it's very quick. And I've had to do that a few times. And it works very quickly because they go straight to the timestamp. And I think that's incredible. Everything we've done is timestamped, within LinkedIn.
Yep.
That's an amazing, I'm envisioning LinkedIn with gigantic servers, just like the amount of data that they have is absolutely incredible. And, and to think it's 20 years of data. It's 20 years of data. And what's the last count? How many people are on the platform right now? It's like
930 million, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It'll be a billion probably into next year.
Yeah.
But it's growth rate. Yeah. It's incredible.
Whew. Okay, so we have reached the end of our hour. And so is there any, I'll just we'll go round robin. Debbie, you'll start it off with, is there anything that you want to say as a final words of wisdom?
Use that ellipsis, the 3 dots in the upper right corner of any post on your home page. If you find something really cool, but you don't have time right now, I click save on that ellipsis. I save posts and articles, and it's saved over on the left under that little flag, and I call that my happy hour flag. So I go back and read later when I have time.
That's good. Kevin.
I look at LinkedIn, it's a microcosm of the real world. What works out here, right, works inside LinkedIn. So if you went to a networking meeting and you had a bag over your head, nobody's going to talk to you, right? If you started slamming business cards on them here, nobody's going to take your business card. They're going to throw it in the trash can as soon as you leave, right? So what works in the real world works within LinkedIn. So start thinking about that. That's the same thing going back to mentioning people, right? You see a post and it mentions 75 people. You can actually mention 100, believe it or not. That's spam. That doesn't work in the real world. If you called out 75 names in an open room, it doesn't work. So if it doesn't work in the real world, it's not going to work within LinkedIn. And if it does, then it will. Yeah. That's one of the things that I think if you take that knowledge into LinkedIn, you can get so much out of it.
Yep.
Love that. Love that. Jeff.
One of the best features for me on LinkedIn is not a technical feature. It's not something that has to do with click this ellipse or et cetera. LinkedIn has allowed me to find my tribe. Okay. And when I say tribe, I mean together really is better for everyone. Okay. Tribe, TRIBE. It is amazing to me how I've gotten to know you folks. It has been one of the best platforms. It's a party, today is a party, but it's a party that's going on 24/7, 365. You can join it anytime you want to. And finding your tribe, to me, really, I sum it up this way. I think that our similarities bring us together, but our differences make us better. And that's why I learn from all you folks. And I think that's one of the best ways you can use LinkedIn is to find a diverse and widespread network and just get together with those folks and have a great time, because LinkedIn is actually quite fun.
I love that. I love that. And probably what I would end it with is sort of following up on what Kevin said. It's about people, and be the same online as you are in person, no matter what you're doing. And stealing a line from Gandhi, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. So be kind with people on LinkedIn, be patient with newbies, ask people for help, but then reciprocate and help others back. And just recognize that we all have to hold hands and learn this platform together and support each other. So it's all about the community that we build here together. And just pay it forward. Just be kind and pay it forward. And that's what we all try to do. So this has been an awesome hour. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you, everybody who joined us. We will get to the comments, even if it takes us the next couple of days. We will be there responding to comments. And just thank you all for everybody who took the time to join us. And here's to another 20 years on LinkedIn, and happy birthday. Okay. Absolutely. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.